And the next topic is presidential travel. Now, I know there are people who are Trump fans out there who get upset every time I mention the cost of President Trump's travel, and I don't understand that. We're an accountability organization. We're not going to shut down because there's a president you like in office. We did it during the Obama administration. We were alone in uncovering the costs of President Obama's unnecessary travel, both to places like Hawaii or to political rallies and fundraisers and things like that. And according to our numbers, his travel totaled $114 million. So President Trump comes into office and he's flying regularly down to his home in Florida. He's got a place in New Jersey, and of course he does political travel too, which is unnecessary. Now I understand sometimes he goes down to Florida and he does work there. Fine. But we still deserve to know what the cost is. So we do FOIA requests and FOIA lawsuits to get access to the costs. And so the cost thus far for President Trump's travel, which may or may not be necessary, is $13.5 million. So it costs about $140,000 an hour for Air Force One to be used. So just, you can do the back of the envelope calculations. It's probably 5 hours between here and West Palm Beach. If you add in what we know about prior Secret Service costs, it probably costs about $1 million every time he flies down to Florida. You can debate whether that's a necessary cost or a cost worth expending. I think it's too much money, and if I were President Trump, I'd figure out cheaper ways to get down there. I don't think he needs to take Air Force One. He can probably take a smaller plane, which would be significantly cheaper and as secure. And and the Secret Service is a wasteful organization and incompetently run, so I'm sure there are savings that can be gotten there. But the president is accountable to the American people, and we need to know how much the presidency costs. And one of the scandals that's nonpartisan, and it's not Obama, it's not Bush, it goes on presidency after presidency, is when the president goes to do campaigning. So what happens is, Air Force One is sent, let's say, he was just sent to Pittsburgh. I don't know if he took Air Force One up there, but let's presume he did. He was up in Pittsburgh this week on behalf of a candidate for Congress. Who pays for that? Well, we do. But also, if there's nakedly political aspects to the travel, the political parties or the candidates are supposed to pony up some of the costs. What the cost formula is usually secret because only the White House has it, and it's dirt cheap. I think it's the equivalent of a first-class commercial flight or something like that for the use of Air Force One. So I would suggest they reform that system to charge the political parties and candidates more to move the president there to campaign for them. Or the president should think of a cheaper way to spend the American people's money to go from point A to point B, especially for unnecessary travel. But we're not talking about sending him to China and complaining about the cost of sending him to China, which I'm sure is too much. We're talking about travel that is largely unnecessary. And unlike President Obama, who didn't give a rat's tail about any of this and just did whatever he wanted to do, the president actually, I think, is sensitive to this. And that's why he's been doing more, I think, travel closer to home. He owns a place in Virginia, a golf course in Virginia. He golfs there a lot more often than he used to. He goes to Bedminster, New Jersey, which is a cheaper ride. So there is good to doing this because it sensitizes the president and his people to the cost of moving him around and hopefully saves us money without impinging on his duties and responsibilities. So Judicial Watch is doing this work, and what's very interesting is when we were doing it in the Obama administration, we were alone. We were literally alone in doing it. The media didn't do it. They reported a little bit of what we did, but Judicial Watch was doing all the work. Well, President Trump, you can just imagine what the liberal media is doing. They are looking at the cost with a fine-tooth comb. And we just asked for the cost of presidential travel and Secret Service costs. They're now asking about Coast Guard travel, costs, the cost of local police, adding that all in. and something they never did for President Obama. So I think it's ironic. I mean, we're doing what we did for President Obama and trying to compare apples to apples. The media is coming in and comparing apples to oranges, and they're obsessed with the cost of presidential travel. So I guarantee you that our press release about the cost of President Trump's travel will get more media coverage than our press release about Hillary Clinton's illegal retention of retention and sending of classified information on her email server. It doesn't mean we're not going to ask questions about President Trump's travel. But the media really has it in for President Trump, and I just think it's very interesting in terms of oversight. The media only wants to provide oversight of politicians they don't like, and they protect politicians they do like. Judicial Watch, we try to be even-handed and provide oversight of politicians no matter the party, no matter the ideology, no matter whether we personally like them or dislike them in terms of policy on specifics. So that's what we're doing consistently from President Obama and to President Trump. We owe it to you to be fair in this regard.